though it wasn't fulfilling to me. And that's why it took me so long to really come into myself. And
when we're dating somebody. I'm not saying that all men are like this, but in my personal experience,
I'm gonna try my best. So I feel like whenever I'm gonna talk from the
Don't get me wrong. Kiss me on the mouth, I want to touch front, I'm all in, but...
Okay, so I just want to talk about something that I feel like nobody talks about. So when I first started dating girls, I had dated a lot of men before because that was the way that I was conditioned and I was raised super conservatively. And when I started dating girls, it was really fucking hard for me. Like, I didn't know how to flirt with them. I didn't know how to talk to them. I didn't know how to make moves on them. I just had zero clue what I was doing. And that's what ended up forcing me back into dating men because they do everything for you. And it was just like my comfort zone, even though it wasn't fulfilling to me. And that's why it took me so long to really come into myself. And I'm just getting to a point where it's actually easy for me. Like, since I started dating my girlfriend, like, now obviously I've figured that out. But dating women was very uncomfortable for me for a very long time. And I was really awkward with a lot of girls. So I just want to say that that's really normal if that happens. And
so in her own words, dating women was really uncomfortable and unfulfilling for her. But does that surprise anyone? Dating women has always been really tricky for men, to say the least, let alone women. But it's good to see her getting to know how difficult it is for men to deal with women, as explained by this woman here.
I'm 28 years old. I'm in my first relationship with a woman ever, and this is why dating women is not easier than dating men. Okay, number one, the beginning phase when you're first trying to talk to a woman is so much harder than talking to a man. Flirting is not the same. I remember when I was dating men, I used to think flirting was so easy. I would either like roast the shit out of them, or I would just have this level of confidence. Whereas with women, especially feminine-looking women, you can't really tell if they're also interested in other women. So, B, it's so much more nerve-wracking. You're like, hee, I like your top. Whereas with men, I'd be like, do I make you nervous? It's just so different. In my personal experience, men are pretty straightforward. I feel like men make it pretty clear if they're interested in you or not.
In simpler words, she is basically saying she has to put a lot of effort while dating a woman, whereas men make it easy for women, so they don't feel the need to impress a guy.
Women, on the other hand, we do not think in a linear way the same way men do. We are so much more complex. Like, we think about so many other things when we're dating somebody. I'm not saying that all men are like this, but in my personal experience, women are just far more complex emotionally. Speaking on emotions, when I was dating a man, I could be so fucking pissed off and just like huffing and puffing, and he would never notice. Now that I'm dating a woman, Jess and I are so intuitive with each other's emotions, it's insane. She could so as much as blink different or breathe slightly off, and I'll be like, what is going on? I just feel like we're so much more intuitive and in tune with each other's emotions, whereas with men, it just goes right over their head. Because we feel so deeply, anytime that a fight happens or there's a disagreement, I don't know why, but the emotions feel 10 times heightened in comparison to when I would go through things with men. I feel like I would be able to brush it off no problem with Jess, and maybe it's also because we're like very in love, but you feel the emotions and you feel them so deeply because your emotional connection is just so strong.
As she herself says, emotions are always heightened in women, so they need a calming influence in the relationship, which in most cases only a man can provide.
One thing I really was not prepped for when dating Jess was the eyeballs that we get when we show any sign of PDA.
When I was dating men, we would go out, hold hands, kiss in public, and nobody would bat an eye. But dating Jess, whenever we go out and we show any signs of PDA, people are just staring. Like, we literally had an instance where we went to a restaurant and we kissed and people started clapping. Lastly, apparently the breakups with women are way more intense, way harder than the breakups with men. I'm hoping that I never have to experience that, but I have heard from other people that your first breakup with a woman is not good.
One more thing she did not cover was male validation. Women live for male validation. They need to feel that their partner is always complimenting them, which won't happen often if a woman is dating a woman, as confirmed by this girl here.
I've been thinking so hard about how to reply to this because I'm having trouble getting the right words, but I'm going to try my best. So I feel like whenever I'm going to talk from the first person so I don't generalize, because this is just my specific instance, and if someone relates to it, then wonderful. I feel like when guys like me, I can immediately tell because they jump to sexualize me in some way. And then for someone who's grown up in a heteronormative, male validation motivated society, it immediately clicks where I'm like, oh, they're attracted to me, this feels good, I'm being sexualized, and that's how I can tell, and this is how I associate people liking me, specifically men. Like, it's sexual attraction, they like me, cool, now I know, I feel valid, they like me, I'm going to pursue this. And I personally feel like women don't jump to do that as often because, one, they may or may not know what it's like to be sexualized immediately by a man, and they don't want to give off that energy. Or two, they don't jump to sexualize women because they respect women a lot more and don't objectify them, so they just seek a deeper connection. But I feel like since I'm so used to associating people liking me with sexualization that men jump to in order to like let someone know that they like them, it feels like the women don't like me because that's all I've ever known.
As I said in the previous clip, male validation is necessary for women. It's like oxygen to them, especially to the modern ones, as they can get a lot of it due to social media. And even after getting it, they can still leave the guy like she did in this clip.
That people don't tell you when you first start dating women. Hi, my name is Sydney. I'm a late bloomer lesbian. I just learned that word on TikTok today. I came out when I was 25 years old after dating men my whole life. I was in a relationship with a man for 5 years. I thought I was going to marry him and spend the rest of my life with him. And now here I am, engaged to my fiance, who is a woman. So what they don't tell you when you first start dating women is how much harder it is to make a first move on a woman. Like, I personally have never been the person that makes the first move when I dated men, but like I didn't have to. Because men like just go for it. Like they're not worried about crossing boundaries. They just assume that you'll say stop or say no like when you're done. They're not concerned about crossing boundaries. There's no like, hey, can I kiss you? There's no like, hey, can I hold your hand? Like, men are just all in, and it makes it so like you become really.
Could we please talk about how hard it is to date as a healthy lesbian? Side note, it is hard enough just dating a woman because we're just so cutie and emotional and we want to love, 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 but holy smokes, babe, can we slow down? Now, don't get me wrong. Kiss me on the mouth, I want to touch front, I'm all in, but I thought we were reversing the U-Haul, right? Like, we're supposed to be healthy. And I am trying so hard to rein it in, slow it down, really get to know you, babe, right? Because we're healthy, we're healing. But oh my God, it's so hard because I just want some moochies, you know? So are we gonna slow down and be